Hey freaks, it's me again. I'm not a YouTuber, so y'all, you know me, always having some fucking problems with recording and shit. So editing me, splice the clips in. I want to show you guys what I drew today. Okay, with Take It and Monoma on the mind. Because I have to work on the pitch Bible. Remember, guys, this is an ultimate goal to this, which is a pitch Bible due June 30th. As little babies, that's them. Oh my god, that's them. He's a bit. Oh, he's such a big man. Oh my goodness. I'm so used to Twinkie Takeru still that like I'm not over like who is this young man? Cannot get over this guy. I love me some Takeru. That's why when you ask me whose team I'm on, Takeru or Takumi, like look at this. Look at him. Man, overtake you. He's so pointy. Look at the shape language, guys. I'm focusing on this paragraph about appearance. The packed lumen varies in color based on your type. And if you don't know what the types are, it's like what type of magic do you wield? So you can be a tangible, a yielding, a psychic, or an elemental type. And like based on your type, you get different abilities. There's limits obviously, and also you have a little seal. It changes based on what type you are, your seal location. Tangibles have it on the back of their hands or their wrists. Yielding have it on their above their heart or their stomach. Psychics back of the neck or forehead. Elementals leg or bicep. Monoma doesn't have any because when we start the story he hasn't taken an accord. Basically an accord it's a ritual that you have to perform in order to cast your magic. So if you don't have an accord, you can't cast magic or like gain any pack seals. As Monoma works at the CAO as an auditor, they have something called lumen neutrality laws where basically you can't have an accord. Basically, when you take an accord, you get access to your packed lumen, which is like an extra storage of like lumen. So your packed lumen and your nat lumen are limited, and if they deplete, like you die. So you get your type during your core, you don't get to pick it, you just get it. So that's basically the magic system. Oh my gosh, pacts, guys! I want to tell you guys about pacts now. After taking an accord, you can pact with people, and so if you pact with someone, you can share your lumen and increase your like reserves, and that makes you stronger. Because friendship is magic. Users can like also when they're within a certain distance of each other, they can like passively share their lumen. If you have a pact with someone, you're constantly giving like exchange of lumen. Pacts are permanent and like you can only sever them by killing the other person. After a pact breaking, surviving caster cannot wield lumen for an extended period of time. Magic becomes significantly weaker indefinitely. Who needs subtlety when I can beat the message of the show over the viewer's head, Pacting with someone? You know how you have like incantations for spells? To pact with somebody, you have to like do marriage. You have to say like vow eternal to them and like hold hands or something. Who are your partners? Type seal will form on your back. So your pact seals are located on your back and you can only have two. There's a 2-slot rule for your packs, and magic users who have an accord typically have one slot filled by their pact master, which is the person that oversees your initial accord. If this is you and you're taking an accord, depending on a bunch of different factors, you're probably like between the ages of like 10 to like 15. Usually your pact master Damn! Usually your pact master is an adult and also consistent magic user. Your pact master would be older than you. They would oversee your accord and then they would get your pact seal and it would go both ways. So you get their seal and they get your seal, and like maybe that's your pact master's last seal, you know what I mean, and it's your first one. A pact master is not mandatory, but it increases the chances of a successful accord. Healthy pacts are only formed between two consenting individuals, otherwise a curse pact is made. You can also have deity pacts to mitigate type limitations. Deity pacts can be sought after binding a user to an otherworldly spirit or godlike entity and exacerbating their power. Very rare due to being buried by nobility as well as other risks depending on the deity. The primary example of that is obviously Takumi and Claude. Curses can form in cursed accords and cursed pacts. So cursed accords are formed when an abnormality is present during the initial ritual. It grants magic but with drawbacks, and deformation of type abilities. So if your accord was taken under precarious or weird circumstances, then you may possibly form a cursed accord, which means you're cursed essentially from magic birth. You know what I don't know. Curse pacts are formed when a pact is made in dysfunctional or otherwise unhealthy circumstances. Similar results to cursed accords, with the addition of magical recoil as well as perpetual unwilling resurrection, leaving the cursed individual unable to die until the pact is broken. You can blame these two, this big buff man, this one right here, and this lady in the coat. You can blame those two for you can blame them for that, because their backstory, you can thank them for cursed pacts and whatever comes out of that. There's infused objects, pacted objects, and enchanted objects. Infused objects, you can use an item with the ability to store predetermined amounts of lumen until it runs out, similar to battery. Infusing something with lumen makes it stronger until it runs out and reverts to a lesser non-magical form. Lots of magical artifacts and items follow the practice of infusing. It's literally like a battery. So like if this pen is infused with lumen and it's like really cool and I can write really cool until the lumen runs out, and then it just goes back to being like a regular pen. Pacted/cursed objects. When pacted to an object, it bonds indefinitely with the user and draws directly from their lumen pool. Depending on the object, breaking the pact can greatly weaken or even kill the user, which is why pacted objects are also referred to as cursed. These items do not fill any of the two available pact slots. Typically, a pacted object grows stronger the more it's used and the more lumen absorbed. Cursed objects do not require an accord, making them even more dangerous as they risk quickly depleting Nat Lumen reserves. This is Damnifier. Basically, it was made by nobles because nobles, spoiler alert, nobles can't use magic. Like, they're under the facade that they can use magic, but Kami and Anzai are the first heirs in like a couple generations that have been able to use magic. Pacted objects were made to be used by people without magic. It just bonds to them and draws directly from their lumen. So that's why Damnifier is a problem. And so Monoma at the start of the story doesn't have an accord. Basically, when he grabs Damnifier, it like takes him out, like to use it. Like he's lugging it around the whole time because he doesn't have that much lumen. And that's basically why Damnifier is also a prototype weapon. Nobility haven't refined it enough to not like basically make them exhausted every time they use it if they want to use it in mass. Also, Damnifier is not what the nobles called it. That's what Hero called it. In like the second episode, he calls it Damnifier. They just don't stop calling it that anymore. The last thing in the magic system is enchanted objects. It's basically just when a user who has taken an accord uses magic to imbue an item with type properties. The result is an enchanted object. Enchantments are permanent, with these items highly sought after for their ability to imitate type traits. However, enchanters are increasingly difficult to find. That's the tea on the magic system. I didn't actually expect to go through the magic system in this video, but like that's not part of the pitch Bible. You guys got the tea. I want to be a quick video, but it's mostly gonna be like an update video. Say hi to my co-host J Dog, by the way. Isn't he so sweet? Yeah, he's gonna be chilling with me for this. I think I'm getting sick, and if I sound congested, I feel sick. That's number two. It's Monday, June 16th. Normally, I film brain fogs on days that I have off or I'm not working or that I know that I'll be free so I can do the damn thing. But today I actually work later today at 4 o'clock. I wanted to film a brain fog because this is an accountability video. I wanted to film a brain fog, but also like I think that it's not she's not hitting. Maybe it's the one that I took before. Anyways, so I'm basically giving myself until 11. It's almost 10. So I'm giving myself just over an hour and a little bit to maybe get some sketches done to film this brain fog, etc. before we gotta get going. So yeah. Okay, about the actual project. Fun. What you're seeing now is some art that I did for the Pitch Bible of Monoma. He's actually the first full that I've gotten done. I've been slacking a little bit on art for Under the Veil. I think I was getting a little burnt out because of this full body. And also the art that I'm doing now is slowly moving on from like character focused stuff to more like technical stuff. I'm saying like I actually have to think about, accessory items like Wanama's notebook and Damnifier. I have to illustrate out, and that kind of stuff was burning me out a little bit. I think I organized everything into stacks. I also started working on the packed seals. I got 3 of them done. I got psychic, tangible, and yielding. All I have to do is elemental. The only reason why I'm hesitant about doing elemental is because I'm not sure I'm sold on the design yet. These were supposed to be like relatively simple slash replicatable, so I was supposed to be able to draw them over and over again. I like these packed seals. I'm still feeling kind of weird about them though, but the elemental one I do have to get finished. Oh, I also did some Luna and Mihara art. Oh my god, my queen, look at her. Oh, look at them, they're so cute. Yeah, and I added the packed seals in the corner, so that's why I want to get an elemental done, so that I can do hero and like add a little elemental to the corner. As for Luna and Mihara, I actually only have this piece of art to get done, aka they're full, but I'm hesitating on it because I did this sketch like a while ago, and like normally I prefer to have update sketches because my style changes so often and stuff, but like this Mihara, he's kind of tripping me out. His face is not really facing. I've been finding it hard to draw Mihara, and I still kind of want to edit this one. But anyways, I also did like the sketches of poses for everyone's full, just so like I don't have to think about it when I'm doing it. All of the character sketches like for their profiles and stuff are done. I literally just have to like color them and render them out, which is the part that I don't. It's not that I don't want to do it, I'm just kind of lazy. I talked about this in a previous video that I haven't uploaded yet because my mic died halfway through and I lost the audio. It's when I was drawing the pack seals. I did this sketch of Kamiya's mom because, I'm just updating you on the shit that I did. In terms of like sections, Anzai's section is almost finished. I just have to do his full, and also I'm debating doing another bust. I kind of did Anzai's out of order, and so like he just has like a cuntier one than everyone else, and I'm like, maybe that's okay. Take it. I drew this art of them and they're so cute. Oh, I still can't get over it. Look at this grown man. Oh my god, what a handsome young man. Anyways, I still have Takeru's full to do, which I started, but Nana and Basho have been giving me fucking problems recently. These two have been giving me issues. I don't know, something about it. I don't know. I'm feeling like we have to save Basho and Nana for a brain fog. I have to struggle. Hold on, let me blow my nose. But that is to say that Basho and Nana have been giving me struggles, and like obviously the rest of them too. I think honestly I just needed a break. Oh, I forgot about this. I started sketching out hero stuff like his glove, lighter, coin, matches, stamps, just because I don't have to do it later. Honestly, inventory stuff is like the fun stuff, but like I'm terrible at drawing objects, so like I hate doing it. Hopefully I'm gonna get better at that soon, but honestly I really just have to finish this pitch, bro. I keep telling everyone that I'm working on the pitch, but like I just don't want to get too burnt out, but like I do have to finish the pitch by the 30th, and it's already the 16th. How did that happen? I feel like June's been going by so quick, and I literally don't know how much I'm going to be doing after I get surgery, because like I don't know what my like range of motion for my arm is going to be for like at least 6 weeks while I'm healing. I really want to finish the pitch, you guys. Those are the updates on that. This was from the last video. I was talking about the Pactic system. I want to see how much of that video actually got recorded, and then I'll also put that one up. I'm so congested, you guys. It's so gross. Oh my god, wait, do you guys want to see something cool? Look at my little watch ring. Oh my god, can you guys see her? She's so cute. I got her from work, so we can use her to tell the time. It's like, I'm gonna set an alarm right now for 11:30. Start. Hold on. Wait, don't start yet. I don't have my Apple Pencil. Fuck. Takumi always fights me. And this walking pose, I've tried to do this walking pose on multiple characters, and like, it's not really giving. Honestly, I feel like Takumi doesn't have any images in the pitch Bible, so I should probably start on Taku's. I don't want to pull up reference, so that's embarrassing. That's the mindset that gets you killed as an artist. Use reference, don't be like me. Okay, guys, we're going to Pinterest. Oh, this was for Felicity. LOL. Sometimes I'm like, pulling up my Pinterest feels like pulling up my Twitter. I just hit that buzz. Bro, what the fuck is going on here? Stock images are so scary. I'm not even gonna explain my thought process here. You guys don't need to know about that. See, guys, this is so fucking annoying, bro. I hate. Oh my god. Now, this is not the reference image I want to use, but it's the one that Pinterest has given me, so I'll take it. Alright. This is like killing me. Like, I want to. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. How do I prove to you guys that I'm good at art instead of doing this every video? Okay. So that was a lot. I got locked in there because I was getting a little concerned. What time is it? It is 10:05. I haven't drawn in a while, so I think that's also fucking me up. I feel like I did this like the exact same thing in the last one. So I got the pose down. Pinterest, I don't even want to explain to you what I was going through with Pinterest. I'm gonna try and do his closing now. I panicked a little bit in the end. As you can see, this is a very nondescript sketch. I think I forgot about my shapes for a second and all the hacks that I usually use because I haven't drawn in a bit. So I'm going to try and refine this sketch of Takami's. I'm also going to switch it portrait so that I can get in there with a like teensy weensy bit more detail. As opposed to, you know, what I was doing before. Okay, he is so angry. And for what? Like, this is just the sketch, girl. You don't have to be so upset in the sketch. Takami slander again. Alright, that's passable for now. There's bad feng shui at the top of this image near his face. It's always me trying to do this fucking pose. Oh, wouldn't it look so fucking cool? It's actually not fucking cool. And nobody even fucking cares. So whatever. Crash out. No, but deadass, bro. One of my friends sent me a reel. I want to look at it. I don't know why the person who sent me this, but it's really funny, so I'm gonna link it. Back to business. This is mid, but it's mid enough for me to continue on. Actually, this is normal, because this is how I felt with Monema's pose too. I feel like I'm kicking myself a little too hard for not being able to nail this pose, but Monema's was also super hard to get. So this is gonna be worth it. I feel terrorized right now. Fuck. And then drop my pen. I need to fix that. Seriously. Like, this is crazy. What is it that makes him so like that, you know? It's so irritating. Now I'm annoyed. Sometimes you have to bring the original vision back. I feel like I lost the plot. When I panic, I start contouring. Okay, I like this pose. I like this pose a bit better. I'm gonna try and work with it. I'm trying my hardest not like to fight the urge to scrap. Well, scrapping is okay. Sometimes we have a lot of art to do for a pitch that's due on the 30th of June and it's the 16th. We can't afford to be doing the scrapping shit. So yeah. He just has this fucking itty bitty boy waist. How could be sledded out? Sometimes I draw him and it reminds me of that like trans like Captain America like fetish art. I'm gonna put a fucking screenshot of it in because that's how I feel when I'm drawing Takumi sometimes. I'm like, get out of my head, Akira! No, please. I'm gonna be dying at work, guys. It's so hot. I can't. I'm not even gonna take the wig off. I mean, my natural blonde hair. Fuck. Where did it go? Yeah, so now you know. Those are the two videos I tried to film before. They're not finished because of various issues. Hopefully, this one is not an issue. But honestly, I think it's just the way that I'm doing it. It feels inefficient because I'm actually not drawing. Actually, let me shut the fuck up. We have shit to do today. Today, we are continuing to do art for the Pitch Bible. Today is June 18th. The Pitch Bible is due on the 30th, which is in 2 weeks, I believe. Yeah, about 2 weeks, which isn't that fucked up? Like, June is already almost done. Like, we're in mid-June. Like, oh my god, I'm getting surgery soon. Anyway, so we're working on art for the Pitch Bible today. I've been really busy with work and various other extracurriculars because, I'm trying to have a life. Yeah, I've been busy with shit over the past couple of weeks. I haven't been able to do as much art as I wanted to, but a lot of the sketches are done. I kind of want to do like a rapid fire sketch sesh or something. At least try and get like the sketches done, maybe even flats. I want to get a lot done because I haven't been able to do as much work on it as I want to, and I'm really committing to the June 30th date because after that it's just surgery stuff for me. Like, I don't want to stress about finishing the pitch, and then I can like draw idly and post. So that's what we're doing today. Let me share my screen, my dumb ass. Hold on. We're in. We are in. Okay, so quick catch ups aside from the stuff that you saw in those videos before. Takumi is a problem. He keeps giving me problems, so this pose is fucked up. Even using reference, I don't know, Takumi is a problem. I sketched out this hero like for his pose and stuff. I think we're gonna do this one today, like adjust it, clean it up a little bit. I also sketched out this Kamiya one. We'll probably do the same thing for her. And today, the taker looks pretty okay, but I think I might want to restart. Yeah, the sketch is kind of cuter to me. We'll decide on Takeru. I'm a little scared to tackle this Mihara Luna one, but honestly, we might do it first because then that's all of their art done. And like, that would be great if I could get all their art done. Oh, they're so cute. She's so beautiful. I haven't looked at this art in a while because I literally just haven't been on my iPad. Isn't that fucked up? I'm literally an iPad baby. But oh wow, gorgeous. I ate with that. I know I didn't like it when I drew it, so I'm glad I like it now. I love these folks. Oh wow. Oh, beautiful. Okay, I got distracted. Oh, by the way, because no smoking for surgery, we're off the Eddie today. This is a strong one. I've been nibbling on this for a while. Do with that what you will. It's a chocolate bar. There's so much of this left in here. These are basically the sketchouts that I have. I'm nervous to do Rena's because as you can see, I was getting a little tired with Rena's, and so she's kind of lazier than the rest of them. And I'm a little scared of Rita. For the pitch, we also have to do the headshots. Like, maybe I should I'll really duplicate it and cross out the ones that I've done. Hold on. Oh, wow, those are just the only two. Okay. Yeah, so I finished these two headshots. Everyone else, oh, I did comments too. So 3. Everyone else has been giving me trouble. I'm actually not sure about Anzai's because, like, sorry, I got sidetracked. We're back. I don't really want Basho and Nana are scaring me. I've attempted Nana once already and then I didn't like it, so I deleted the art, which I should probably stop doing, but these two are giving me a hard time. So I don't know about doing Basho and Nana on camera, let alone in this video. I might have to fight that struggle somewhere else. And by myself. I also have to finish the elemental pact seal. The other 3 are done. I think they look pretty cool actually. No shade. Now that I'm looking, a lot of this art I didn't like at the time of doing it because, like, again, I've been doing these pretty sporadically, and so I'm like, it's not gonna be in the same style or it's gonna look too different. But no shade, I think these look good. I don't know, girl. Let me know. Double checking my mic to see if I'm still recording. I'm so paranoid now, so you'll see me do that. I know I probably showed it off in the 2 clips in the intro, but oh, they're so cute. Oh, they're so cute. Yeah, they're best friends. So, oh. The BBs. Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna stay on that too long, but I just had to do it in this video because it's really important to me. Some cleanup before we actually do start drawing. I think I showed this off also in the intro, but this monoma drawing is done. I like it. I also fought with it, so this is actually it looks pretty good. I feel like I'm kind of a hater after I finish my own artwork. Maybe I'm not like giving it enough time to digest because like these aren't bad pieces. Anyways, we can psychoanalyze that later. Who do I want to start with? It doesn't sit right in my heart that Takumi isn't done, but I really can't do that guy on camera. Yeah, he just fights me too much. He really does. Maybe I'm just bad. You know what? I think I'm gonna do a warm-up sketch. I never do that, and so that's probably why whenever I start drawing for the pitch Bible, I'm like, I'm literally the worst artist ever. Let's do a quick Pinterest scroll. We'll do a couple little warm-up sketches because I don't want to take too long. And then this is so funny. Yeah, we'll do a couple warm-up sketches and then we'll actually do pitch Bible art. Okay. Time lapse this of me scrolling through Pinterest until I find something. This would be kind of funny. I think I like boys. I want to draw Takumi like this, no shade. These are warm up sketches. I should expand my. Ooh, this is not my brush. Expand my range, right? Leave me alone. Akira. Ah, that's been a vocal stem for me. Akira, leave me alone. I'm gonna put the clip in.
Leave me alone! Ah! Akira! Ah!
I just realized I'm such a bad outside yapper. Like when I'm drawing, I get really locked into like the shapes and shit. But like I'm good at talking, so like having a whole monologue in my head about what I should talk to you guys about, and I'm like, say that shit out loud, brother. Oh, that's what I wanted to ask. If y'all had like theme songs for like your OCs, or like if you don't have OCs, if you have like I don't know a song that you like. If you don't have OCs, I don't know why you're watching this. Is it because you support me? Are you my friends slash family? Thank you if you are. Peace and love. If OCs had theme songs, what would it be? Honestly, I feel like a lot of my OCs are very like music based. I think about my OCs a lot when I'm listening to music, is what I'm trying to say. And I think most artists do, or like people who have characters, because music makes it easier to just like insert them into the story, right? I was one of the girls. I actually wasn't really one of the girls who made their OCs like Spotify playlists and stuff. I thought it was cool, but at the time I just didn't have the like organizational skills for it, like to make the whole playlist. But there were 100% songs that like my OCs were based on. I keep calling them OCs because I'm like so deep into it. I feel like, okay, this is getting sidetracked. We'll come back to the OC song conversation in a second, but like I feel like OC has a negative connotation to it. Like I wouldn't call it a slur. I feel like your character has a more je ne sais quoi corporate marketable vibe, you know what I mean? So like because I want to like pitch it, I've been trying to get out of the habit of calling them OCs because it feels like, look at my like original character, like Sonichu Core. you know? It's like I feel like I love OCs. Like that's the problem. Like I love calling it OC. I just feel like a lot of people hear the word OC and they're like, "Oh my god, what's her name? The Mary Sue." What was her fucking name? Empress of Darkness, Mary Sue. Oh my god, guys, I'm getting so sidetracked, but this is really important to me. Oh my god, this is gonna be terrible, guys. I know, guys, you're gonna hate me. I know. Or yeah, and who was she versing? It might be Eddie. I think she's actually. No, I'm gonna go with my gut. Yes! Oh my god, I can't believe I remembered the rap battle. Wow. Ebony Darkness Dimension Raven Way. Guys, wait. Have you guys seen this? Nope, probably nobody has seen this. I'm getting so sidetracked from the pitch Bible right now. This is a rap battle between Ebony, Darkness Dimension, Ravenway, and Derpy Who's. And that's the only way I can remember her name. Wow. Yeah, so OC gives very, very that. Anyways, wow. And this is just the sketch, mind you. This has to be edited so greatly. Okay. If you know me, you know I love rap battles, but that's a different episode for, a different day, girl. You're just gonna have to tune in for that one. But yeah, I've been trying to get into the habit of like calling them characters, but I love calling them OCs because yeah, it's my original character. Look at him. Literally nobody's ever, well, they've probably made him before, but like they never made him like this. Okay, I'm gonna pull up the Vizref just so I know what his outfit looks like. So, I don't his stupid fucking cloak. He's having his hood down. I usually draw him with his hood up, but I can't be fucked. Oh my god, that's what I was talking about. Music. I would say that my OCs, like, I listen to a lot of music while making my OCs, but there was very fan specific songs. This also goes into like the rap battle thing. 2016 was a good year. Well, not objectively, but it was a good year for my OCs. Yeah, so the reason why I brought this up even is because I'm drawing Takumi right now, and Takumi's like creation lore is kind of niche.
Many hours later.
What's up, freaks? It's K-Dog. I've done a lot of troubleshooting from the time that I was filming the last couple of clips that I may or may not put in this video or may end up in the next video. Girl, I don't know what's going on. YouTube hates me. They don't want me to be a YouTuber, so oh well. I'm going to try a new format. I'm so congested. Holy shit. Let me pause this and fix myself. The last thing I expected to return to the kitchen with is a bowl of cherries, but I guess if that's the vibe, then that's the vibe. Who am I to stop a vibe? You know what I'm saying? Anyways, brain fogs, I've decided are just gonna be like collages. I don't know, it's gonna be a bunch of videos cut together from whenever I get to film it, however I want to film it. I'm not a YouTuber, and I don't have the time, the skill, or the money for it. I think what I'm gonna call this series, I don't know what I'm gonna call it. It's still brain fog because I'm still doing it. Like, you know what I mean? It's like a secret second thing and like a mysterious third thing in one. Anyways, I'm gonna scroll through my YouTube page and find a video to react. That's the thing about it. I'm not even like reacting like reaction, but like I like working with, sound in the background or a video I can watch. And like often while I'm watching these videos, I'll be making commentary to myself. So I'm like, man, record that shit. So it's not always under the veil related. It's just depending on what the vibe is, but I always draw under the veil. You're gonna figure it out. What video do I want to watch today? Honestly, I want to warn you guys, most of these videos, if you want to know the lore about like Chantal and Amber and my obsession with those two lolcows in specific, or there's a lot of like lolcow videos, foreign man in a foreign land, social commentary videos like Cat Black, a lot of like long videos are the ones I like to watch because it takes me a while to draw. I'm gonna cut to when I find it. Okay, guys, I fear I've picked a video. You're gonna hate me for this one, but this is the first episode of whatever's going on here. Hold on. Oh my god, I wasn't even recording into the mic. Wow. Okay, anyways, drumroll please. The video is a Matt Berntstein and Taylor Lorenz video, specifically one that's not playing yet. So I think it's about rainbow capitalism. So happy Pride! We're gonna do a rainbow capitalism video. Before that, we're gonna figure out what we want to draw today. What we're drawing and inking. Well, not inking. This is my warm up sketch. I was really supposed to do this talk to me, but then bullshit and nonsense happened. We're not talking about it. Moving on. I think what I want to do. Oh, he's so cute. Okay, I know I'm supposed to be working on the full body. I know I am. But I'm going to clean up the portraits instead because that's what I feel like doing. Okay. So, we're going to clean up the portraits and we're going to watch the Matt Bernstein Taylor Lorenz Rainbow Capitalism video. This is new. It just came out like 33 minutes ago. I was trying to start off with something lighthearted for the first episode, but so much for that. So, I'm going to be drawing. You'll be hearing whatever I got to say about it. Okay, let's go.
Reliably make like a third of my annual income from Pride partnerships, and that
Let's
year
see.
there were $0.
Oh my god, a hook.
For years, Pride Month meant rainbows on everything.
Sorry, oh my gosh. The reason why I wanted to pick this video, sorry guys, the reason why I wanted to pick this video is actually because my best friend, Emily, my queen, she sent me a meme today. And the meme was like, hold on, let me pull out my phone and find it. It was a reel. She sent me a reel, and it says the transgender theme is no longer available. I was like, oh haha, that's so funny. But then I checked our chat, and like we have the trans theme on. Well, we're supposed to have it. It's not there anymore. And so I was like, dude, what the fuck? And so I was like, this is probably very indicative of serious transphobia issue we have going on right now in our culture. But the video hasn't even started yet, and I've lost my Apple Pencil and have gone on about the reel that my friend sent me. This is great. I dropped it. Wow. Wait.
Burger. Endless array of t-shirts. But this June, after a decade of cashing in on queer identity, corporations are pulling back. From the aisles of Target to the Instagram feeds of big brands, the rainbow logos are gone, the pride campaigns are non-existent, and the merch shelves are empty. Matt Berntstein.
I noticed that, honestly. Unfortunately, I'm very susceptible to rainbow washing because, like, I'm like a pride gay, you know what I mean? I just recently bought some pride pins first for me. I was like, I don't want to be profiled for like a lot of years, but then I was like, you know what? I'm kind of a faggot anyway, so, you know. I'm very susceptible to rainbow washing, rainbow capitalism, because I'm like, but it's pride. Um, and so I noticed that recently, not a lot of like rainbows have been around because usually, you know, I'm the first to be like, oh my god, the pride cookies at Craig Cookies, I have to buy it. I'm not gonna go on about the story, but we'll talk about it another time.
Cultural critic and content creator who covers LGBTQ.
I love Matt Bernstein. Sorry, I'm a yapper, but I really do love his content. I just had to say that.
We're going to talk about the rise and fall of rainbow capitalism, the history of the commodification of queer identity, what it says about our culture, our economy, and why this year everything has gone so beige. Matt, welcome to Power User.
Thank you for having me back, Taylor. Last time we were here, we had the pleasure of talking about heterosexual men, and I'm so thrilled that today
I'm gonna watch
we
that
are not
episode.
doing that.
I want to kind of like start by talking a little bit about the history of the gay rights movement and like when brands first started to play a role. I feel like throughout the 1960s and then certainly even into the 70s, there wasn't commodification of like gay rights yet because there was just so much activism happening on the ground. Like it was still this like underground fringe thing, like the first pride.
And I find that kind of crazy. I think, like, as a queer community, don't listen to me about what to do for the queer community because, you know, I'll give you some wrong answers. But one thing I do think as a community is that we do have to go back to radical activism and stop infighting about, you know, meaningless things that don't matter in the long run. I know other people have made this point, but it really does stand that, like, they don't really care the difference between a bisexual and a pansexual or he, him lesbians. Like, they want us dead. No shade. And so, like, I think, like, pride as a riot, that sort of radical activism. I don't believe in, like, disparaging, like, certain members of the queer community who, like, really do care about that sort of stuff and, like, semantics because, like, I get it. But, like, pride being queer is activism. And I think a lot of, like, I don't want to say young queers because, like, I'm part of the young queers, but a lot of, like, queer people have kind of lost that sort of that drive to be active in their communities. And, you know, I wish that we were more united as a whole. Anyways.
1970. The original pride flag wasn't popular until the late 1970s, and I guess you could consider that pride merch.
You kind of could, and
It is pride merch.
it's so representative of sort of the limitations of that at the time because the rainbow flag was originally made.
I'm not doing
by
proper
Gabriel
arm movements
Baker.
when I'm drawing. You know, you're supposed to draw with your arm, not your wrist, but like I'm all wrist, bro. That's why my wrist is so limp. You know, drawing like bigger is like supposed to make you make cleaner lines and less scratchy ones like these ones. So like I'm trying to clock it, but just like too much movement for my little iPad screen. I have to sit up properly.
It was just like kind of this gay rights symbol that's always existed, but it wasn't. I mean, before the rainbow flag, really, we had any number of things, but mostly the inverted pink triangle that was used as a badge of criminalization for queer prisoners during the Holocaust. So the rainbow flag comes about in the 70s. And what's interesting about it is it originally had more colors. I love talking about this. I actually always use the original 8-color flag whenever I use rainbow iconography on Instagram in my posts because it initially had, in addition to the 6 colors we traditionally see now, pink and teal, and the pink was too expensive to mass produce, so it was dropped. And then the teal, my understanding is that it was dropped as well, so that it would have an even number of stripes, so they could split it in half when they were marching it down the parade. It's just interesting that from the beginning, like the idea of mass production of these symbols was like always in mind, and at first very different.
And that's a very valid point to make, that the fact that like producing the flag became more expensive because of more colors, you know what I mean? I don't have necessarily the wits with me to give a valid, well thought out like metaphor for like kind of like how we separate certain marginalized members of the queer community because they're not marketable to straight people. You see where I'm going with that? I can't elaborate because I'm not, I just can't. You know what I mean? But something's there. Smarter people than me can elaborate.
That's so interesting. And like you said, it just shows also how like commercialization or at least production or like the economy is already shaping the symbols of LGBTQ life. I mean, the inverted pink triangle, like you said, I feel like that ended up becoming more of a symbol in the 80s with ACT UP and the AIDS crisis. And it seemed like the 80s, there was also a lot more awareness of LGBTQ issues, mostly because of the HIV AIDS crisis. But you didn't see brands starting to really get involved yet.
And that's sort of where I'm missing on my like queer history, is like the HIV AIDS crisis. I feel like I know vaguely of it, and like I don't think I'm currently comprehending how big of a deal it was, especially in queer history. So like for sure I want to do some reading up on that. I think when I get surgery is when I'm gonna be doing less under the veil specific, like, you know, drawing all the time and doing more like reading, because I'll be healing, right? And so I don't know how much I'll be able to draw, as previously stated in many times. So I'm looking to take that time to do a lot of reading. So I think maybe I'll read up on my queer history.
Was more this struggle, and it was still heavily stigmatized in that era. Like just being gay in the 80s was still seen as fringe, and like the advertisers in outlets like the Advocate were more like fringe, local, like gay specific businesses. One thing we did see emerge in the 80s was a lot of art, like queer art. Keith Haring, obviously famous artist. There's a bunch of like sort of iconic queer artists in music and art and culture that sort of started to become more well known, where like you could see the cultural influence of sometimes closeted or like tacitly out like gay.
I think I'm chipping his tooth, guys. I don't know. Oh, he's so cute, guys. I have to chip it, right? It's chipped in this one, and then I wasn't sure about it. He has like two like fangs in this one. I was like, do I chip his tooth? Do I? I do, right? Isn't he cute?
Yes. Oh my gosh. So Keith Haring is also such an interesting
Yeah, it's not
example
in
of
this
all
one
of this,
either, but
because
it kind of
Keith
is.
Haring was a gay HIV positive artist who ended up dying from AIDS before there was any treatment from it. And it's interesting because a lot of his
Oh,
work,
he's
the
so
majority of
little.
his body of work that you'll find in art museums, it's explicitly political. It's about political corruption. It's about homophobia. It's about serophobia.
That's why I was kind of surprised when Keith Haring, like I started to see his art more on like t-shirts and stuff, like around, like people would be like actively wearing Keith Haring art, and like even me, like I've seen him around, but like I didn't learn that he was like a queer HIV positive artist until a lot later. And so when I saw people, like every time I see Keith Haring stuff or Keith Haring like styled stuff, I wonder if people know that history behind it and if it would change how they wear it. I wonder if a lot of people are just looking at it because they're like funny little guys, or if they like Keith Haring. I don't know. That's not a critique or anything. I'm just saying.
Of HIV/AIDS and people living with it, and about discrimination against people living with AIDS as an artist living with AIDS. And Keith Haring was also very conscious of how he could break into the mainstream, which was with less, I would say, surface level political stuff. So which is why when most people know Keith Haring, they know his sort of rainbow dancing figures. But
Yeah,
most people do not know who Keith Haring was, or that a lot of his work was political, because I think it was kind of
exactly.
limited in what he could push into the mainstream. And then the other thing about the 80s, and why I don't think there was really like this rush of rainbow capitalist merchandise that we would later see, is that like there just wasn't a market for it. The HIV/AIDS crisis was a time of enormous homophobia, which, you
For
know,
sure.
there hadn't really, like in the US, been a time free of homophobia before that. Like the 70s the gay liberation movement started, but it wasn't like some haven post Stonewall. But, you know, HIV/AIDS made it worse, and Reagan made it worse. And so, as we will see, the availability of this kind of stuff and corporations' willingness to cash in on it really depends on the market. And that will.
I think also my lack of, how do I say it, more like refined political views is also because I'm Canadian. So I have like the, you know, blissful ignorance of like not necessarily having to pay attention to American politics, but like you definitely should. You know, like you don't have to, but like you 100% should. That sort of thing. So like a lot of like queer liberation stuff that didn't go on in Canada, or like even the stuff that does go on in Canada, I don't really know about just because I just haven't read up on it very well.
To right now, but let me not get ahead of your outline.
The first example that I could find of actual kind of like what I think would be considered like modern pride merch were these freedom rings, which became really popular in 1982 because a bunch of MTV music video hosts were wearing them. Have you ever seen these before?
No, wait, I want to see.
So these freedom rings were created. They were 6 aluminum ring sets, and they were created for San Francisco's Pride Parade. They were originally created in 1989, but then they sort of became popular and they became this status symbol. And I want you to open up this New York Times style article from the time from 1992 about these rings because I found it to be hilarious. It sort of explains what they are. So it says a set of 6 anodized aluminum rings in red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. Again, colors of the rainbow. Introduced as a fundraising item. They're lightweight, fun to fiddle with. They're designed by this New York artist who
Fun to fiddle with.
Fun to fiddle with? All right. I guess, you know, representation for the stimmers out there.
He hopes that they'll be worn by straight people as a universal pro-tolerance.
He hopes that they'll be worn by straight people? Not even gay people? The merch wasn't even for the gay people, it was for the straight people? Wow. I mean, I get it was for solidarity, but like, I see where it's coming from. It's just...
And there's a big all caps what they mean. A way for gay people to flaunt their wholesomeness.
Oh, wow.
The
Oh, wow. The Tumblr girls would love that. A way for them to flaunt their wholesomeness. All right. I appreciate the sentiment, but the execution was a little wild. No shade.
Stubbornly mainstream. Almost a Hallmark card emblem a la unicorns
Like,
and
literally.
kittens. And then it says, it symbolizes happiness, Mr. Spada said, who designed the rings. He also added that it represents diversity. And then there's the somewhere over the rainbow connection. For generations, gay people have grown up clinging to the idea that someday, somewhere, they can fly.
This is
What?
insane.
Wait, do we? Is that true? That we can fly? Fly where? Like, hold on. I understand it's a marketing pitch, but what does that mean? I hope that gay people want to fly over the rainbow? Like Dorothy? Like the Wizard of Oz? All right, whatever. I mean, it was a queer classic,
Well,
I
first of all,
think.
what they mean.
The gays love
a way
Wicked.
for gay people to flaunt their wholesomeness. It's like,
Yes.
we guys already know you're being sodomites in the bedroom.
I'm
but
saying,
you guys-
it's like, you guys are deviants, but we can flaunt that you're actually not sexually deviant or like terrible for the children. I mean, like, spoiler, gay people have sex and so do straight people. So I don't understand this sodomy propaganda because like the things that straight men want to do, that's sodomy propaganda.
rainbows and unicorns, maybe we'll start seeing you as normal human beings. I fucking love that.
It's so funny. The rings are also pretty ugly, I'm sorry to say. It's very like 90s, right? It's just like
It
colored
is.
steel rings.
Yeah, they're just like
It's like, all right.
aluminum bangles. Like there's nothing really interesting about them. They're just colors.
Yeah.
It's like
and
thanks for the
they have
merch.
The original ring version, like you said, there's the bangles, and then people were wearing them on like these ball and chain necklaces. You know, you would
Oh,
have them
wow.
around.
I'm looking at this photo advertisement of them with these 2 presumably lesbians wearing them, and I don't know what to say other than they are representing their wholesomeness.
It's very.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're flaunting their wholesomeness.
They're flaunting their wholesomeness.
Flaunting.
I love the idea of just like
I'm gonna go out on the streets and start flaunting my wholesomeness after I get my transgender operation. I'm very wholesome, promise.
tolerance, not pro acceptance. It's like we hope that straight people can wear this as a symbol of tolerance.
Tolerance, like
Taylor,
we're
I was
okay
born in
with you.
1998, which is a lot later than these were introduced, and which honestly wasn't that long ago in the grand
Yeah.
scheme. And like even when I was growing up, the word was tolerance. Like
Wild.
it wasn't even till
I had a book called Tolerance, and like in the context, like it's different from this context of like tolerating queer identity, but actually I don't like what I did with that eye. Hold on. It was my favorite book. I was in like grades, like the third grade maybe, and like I would take this book out, not probably because I was a little autistic, but also because like I just thought it was like a very obvious message. Like I preached that shit like the Bible, because basically it was the first exposure of like accept everyone. People are just people that I got as a kid that I really absorbed. Like obviously your parents teach you that, but like, you know, reading a picture book and seeing images of like people in wheelchairs, black people, white people, Asian people, gay people, I think were also in that book, you know, spoiler alert. But like I was just like, yeah, this makes sense. I was like, guys, you should read this. You should just be tolerant of everybody. But I understand that tolerance is both a good thing and a bad thing, in terms of like there's a negative connotation to just being able to tolerate someone's presence instead of accepting them. However, I think the message of accept most, tolerate everyone is maybe not that. I would edit that slogan.
As far as I can remember, like the way I internalized people talking about gay people, like it wasn't even really a conversation of like acceptance. It was about tolerance. Like, do you tolerate these people?
Which is bizarre because it's like they exist.
Which is something to tolerate. I mean, it's crazy. It is crazy, but that word is definitely rings in my childhood.
Well, throughout, I mean, I guess you missed most
It's
of the
fucked
90s.
up
I was
bizarre.
barely sentient, but this is a one core memory that I do have because I do remember in elementary school, Absolute vodka advertisements were very cool. Have you ever seen these from the 90s?
No, I don't think so.
I remember this because I remember going over to my friend's house who had an older sister and had her bedroom plastered with Absolute vodka ads. And so then I started collecting them too, to my mother's like
That's
horror, because I
cute.
was like a child.
Well, because Absolute Vodka has been like a pride partner for like a very long time.
They
Well,
have,
so
yeah.
it started back then. Let me just show you some of these.
I learned about it through Drag Race, that like Absolute was like the one that gay people liked, or like the one that likes gay people. Anyways, not necessarily like mutually exclusive.
Okay. I know that I know they're like rainbow bottle that comes around every year.
Right. Well, we'll get to that in a second. Absolute Vodka had this really iconic advertising campaign in the 90s where they just took the Absolute Vodka and it would say like Absolute XYZ, Absolute Appeal, Absolute Zero. It would have ice. Absolute LA was like the bottle in the shape of a pool. Absolute Aspen
That's
was
good.
like the bottle in the shape.
Simple marketing with repeatable phrases, very good for a consumer audience. I only know that because that's part of my degree, but I mean, you know, they're meant to advertise to you well, so if it resonates, it resonates.
And they did a pride campaign that was like considered very progressive at the time. They actually started this campaign in the 80s and then it really became popular in the 90s.
My eyebrow pierced.
Absolute perfection. And it's an absolute bottle with like
Sorry,
it's like an
guys.
angel's halo above the top of it.
Yeah. So it's an ad that actually doesn't read as gay or like LGBTQ.
I was going to say this almost looks
Yeah.
like Christian.
Exactly.
Oh.
So I think, but what was sort of subversive at the time is that they ran these ads in places like The Advocate and other gay publications. And so
Another
there was this
profit.
like subtext to it that actually caused some backlash because people were like, we know what you really mean, you know? And they're like, what do you
Oh.
mean?
I guess, like, that's also just, like, a culture thing that I wouldn't get because I was born in 2005, so yeah, I'm a little tuned out for what the adults are speaking about in the room. I'm 19, so
Our ads.
Like you're perfect the way you are.
Yeah,
Get
and, like,
drunk with us.
the like religious, I guess, tolerance or like the religious notion at the time too, because there was so much of the religious right that was obviously against LGBTQ people. And it was this idea of like, you are blessed and you are great. And now you should get drunk on Absolute.
That's sexy and that's sophisticated and that's chic. That's like way better than the stuff that would come out.
that is chic. I'm kind of a maximalist, but I've been a little into chic recently. I can appreciate something chic, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, very, very curated. I don't think I can do curated because I just love adding and adding and adding, and then it turns into shit. But like, I appreciate the girls that can be like chic, you know?
I like this.
I love it. I love it. And I think it's so creative and it's so in line with their brand, but it was also like subversive and interesting and not just like what a lot of brands ended up doing, which is just plastering rainbows all over, like, which they eventually did, right? They created the rainbow bottle and they actually say about the bottle on their website, Absolute launched the first ever spirits bottle to
I've
wear
never
the
seen
rainbow
that.
flag, which was made actually in collaboration with Gilbert Baker, who designed the flag. So
Oh,
it's It's nice.
I hope he got money from it.
Yeah. But that happened much later. But Absolute ended up like collaborating. As you mentioned, they were like liquor partners were sort of ahead of the game on partnering with LGBTQ people, I think, because gay bars served alcohol.
Totally. And one thing about gay people, we can
They
drink.
gonna drink. That's what I'm saying. The gay people, one thing about the gays, they gonna have a drink. Shout out to my favorite gays that drink. I'm not a huge drinker just because it makes me sleepy, and I'm also like not that tall, so one cooler and I'm out. Shout out to the drinkers.
Another iconic brand that started to do LGBTQ advertising in the 90s was Benetton.
I like
Their
it.
first ad in 1991 was this blanket campaign. And if you pull up the image, you can describe it on screen.
Ooh, beautiful.
So this is 3 people. Is it a couple with a baby?
I think what you're asking is something that's so consistent about a lot of advertising in the 90s that was LGBTQ advertising. Is it a couple? I don't know. It's a black woman, a blonde woman, both wrapped in a blanket and cradling an Asian baby.
This is what.
Yeah, like, 2025, like, that's not even very rare, to be honest. Like, all types of people are all with all types of people, but I can see how, back then that would have been like a little gaggy, right? Where you're like, what are you trying to say?
That reads now as like a sort of confounding diversity quota advertisement. But
Yeah.
it's beautiful. Yeah,
It
this was
is.
a lesbian couple were meant to be.
It was, I think they meant it to be that way. It was perceived that way. Like there was commotion over it, as there was with everything. But it's very like 90s, like we don't see race, we don't see color.
Sort
like,
of thing.
Benetton's whole thing too is like the colors of the world campaign.
I just like can't tell if it's making fun of me or not. That's my main problem with it is I really just earnestly can't tell if I'm supposed to be like, is this diverse? Like, are you including me or what? Like, I feel like if you posted that on Twitter today, it could be very easily taken by right wingers to be like, this is propaganda. This is what the gays want. It could very easily go either way. Type beat.
A white woman, a black woman, and an Asian baby. Like, can't we all get along?
Yeah.
And to be clear, like I love, obviously it goes without saying, I love diversity, but it's just like sometimes it's shoehorned in a way that's a little, I think, less elegant, maybe.
Like A for effort, basically.
Yes. I mean, look, given where we are now, I'm going to stop complaining about literally anything.
I know.
True.
A brand that was a little bit more explicit in the 90s was Subaru. Subaru is obviously so synonymous with like lesbian culture these days. But it was because of market research. Like they commissioned these studies.
Are Subarus for lesbians? I didn't know that. Like I know like there's a couple things like for lesbians, quote unquote, but like I didn't know that Subarus were a queer brand.
Lesbians in Northampton, Massachusetts, and Portland, Oregon served as household leaders and key decision makers. And basically that this was like an untapped commercial market that they could really feed into. So they ran these ads with taglines including, "It's not a choice, it's the way we're built," with the cars. Again, it's so subtle.
That's cute.
Like, if you were to see this now.
It's so clever.
Yeah.
It is
but
clever.
it doesn't, there's no rainbows in any of this stuff, like they're selling the products, but they're not, it's very like, it's clever. It's like kind of,
it's like there's at least a message that we're trying to convey here. You know what I mean? At least it's like an attempt to show support to the communities where it's like, it's not a choice, you know what I mean? Like, be who you are for your pride. Be who you are for your pride. Type beat. But that's the problem with rainbow capitalism. It doesn't really say anything.
communicates the message.
I mean, this is gorgeous to me. It's not a choice. It's the way we're built, which is obviously like basically saying like we were born this way, right? And that's actually saying something. Whereas like when you, similar to the Absolute original bottle, it was saying like you're actually perfect in God's eyes, which is meaningful to a lot of queer people to hear. Versus kind of this stuff where you slap the rainbow on where it doesn't actually say anything. And I think it's why it became grating to people after a while, especially queer people, because it was like, you're not telling me anything positive about myself. You're just saying, look, buy our product. It has a rainbow on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Hey, freak. So I just spent some time trying to edit and splice all of the footage that I have in a semi-reasonable fashion in a barely incoherent way. So as I'm editing, I just finished editing what I just filmed of Hero, and it's 2 hours. The video is 2 hours, so we're stopping there. The reason why it stopped so suddenly back there in that clip is because my mic died. Because, it's always fucking something with me. So we're gonna call this a Franken brain fog. and when we put it up on YouTube. I think I'm gonna try and commit. That's funny. I'm gonna try and do that what I said about filming multiple brain fogs throughout the week, just filming what I can when I can, and then splicing them all together into one like weekly brain fog, and then editing like the raw footage and then putting those up as their own longer brain fogs if you actually want to get the context. I'm not sure about that yet, but that's a working idea. So, all of that to say, thank you very much for watching and sitting through the 2-hour ramble and the disjointed editing. I appreciate you if you watched it. Let me know what you think. Don't. It's your life. Happy Pride. Okay, bye.